To bring in Congressman Mike Garcia. He's Republican from California. He represents part of LA County, where the ports are, I believe. Congressman, let's get right to it. Who do you blame for this mess at the port?
Well, I blame both the federal government and the state governments in this case. This is what happens when you have lifelong politicians trying to run a country when they've had absolutely zero business experience. Between Biden, Pelosi, Schumer, you've got three politicians who have earned 141 years of paychecks, all of which were as politicians, none of which were in the business world. When you compound that with California's policies, and look, I love my state, it's a beautiful state, great people, great weather, great geography, but from an economic perspective, it's a wobbly top that is like 2 revolutions away from falling down. And the source of this problem for the truckers goes back to a bill called AB 5, which prevents truckers from operating as independent contractors, and another policy called CARB, which is the leading edge of the Green New Deal. And what this effectively does is it forces truckers to leave California because they can't operate as independent contractors. And if they do stay, they have to buy trucks effectively every 7 years, even though the mileage may be low. So this is why we don't have truckers in California anymore. And this is an example of how California's policies affect the entire nation, and we need to pay attention. And you know, Stu, I ran because I don't want my nation to turn into what California has become. And this is an unfortunate shining example of that right now.
Real quick question. Have you heard anything from Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, who should surely be saying something about the problem at the port?
He should be, and again, a lifelong bureaucrat who really doesn't have a grasp on the reality of things on the ground or in our ports. So no, we haven't heard anything from him, nothing meaningful. There's empty talking points, and these guys don't know what to do. The reality is that this is a fundamental, this goes to the core differences between liberals and fiscal conservatives, right? Liberals want to punish people when they don't behave the way they want to. Fiscal conservatives want to incentivize people, and what they should be doing, rather than imposing fines, which really don't add up to a lot for these major corporations, they're just going to download that to the consumer. But rather than doing that, they should be actually cutting costs, incentivizing people to get out of there with lower port fees and quicker turnaround times. And that's how we're going to get this thing moving. And in California, they need to allow truckers to operate as independent contractors, repeal AB 5, and start to relax the guidelines around CARB emissions and allow truckers to actually continue to use their trucks. We do those things, we'll have enough truckers on the ground to move these containers, and we'll solve this problem in a matter of weeks.
Excellent. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, come back soon. Good stuff.
Will do.